Welcome to Bible Breeze. Today, we journey to the blazing summit of Mount Carmel, where one man stood alone against 450 prophets and called down fire from heaven. This is not just a story of miracles, it's a story of bold faith, divine power, and the moment when heaven answered with flames. What made Elijah so confident? What really happened on that mountain? Stay with us as we unveil one of the most powerful showdowns in Bible history. Long ago, in a time when Israel had forgotten the God who delivered them, the land was ruled by a wicked king named Ahab. His queen, Jezebel, worshipped the idol Baal and led the people into spiritual darkness. Altars to false gods rose across the nation, while God's altar crumbled in ruins. But in the midst of silence and idolatry, God had a prophet, Elijah, a man of deep conviction, fearless faith, and fiery purpose. God had already used Elijah to stop the rain, declaring there would be no dew or rain until he said so. For years, the land lay dry, crops failed, rivers vanished, and yet the people still refused to turn back to God. Now, the time had come for a confrontation, a decisive moment. God instructed Elijah to present himself to King Ahab and declare a challenge. When Elijah appeared before Ahab, the king sneered, "Is that you, O troubler of Israel?" Elijah did not flinch. "I have not troubled Israel," he said. "But you and your father's house have, by forsaking the Lord and following Baal. Now summon all Israel to Mount Carmel, and bring the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah." Ahab agreed. Word spread across the land. Crowds gathered. The air was thick with tension as the people ascended the mountain. At the top of Mount Carmel, Elijah stood before the people and declared, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, follow him." Silence. The people said nothing. Then Elijah proposed a challenge. "Bring 2 bulls, let the prophets of Baal choose one and prepare it, placing it on wood without fire. I will do the same. Then we will each call on the name of our God. The God who answers by fire, he is God." The people agreed. The prophets of Baal chose their bull, prepared it, and laid it on their altar. From morning until noon, they cried out, "O Baal, answer us!" They danced, shouted, and leapt around the altar. But there was no voice, no fire, no answer. At noon, Elijah began to mock them. "Shout louder! Maybe your God is sleeping, or busy, or on a journey." Humiliated but desperate, they shouted louder and even cut themselves with swords until blood flowed. Still, nothing. The sun climbed high. Hours passed. Still no fire. Then Elijah called the people closer. He knelt and rebuilt the altar of the Lord using 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel. He dug a trench around it. Then he arranged the wood, cut the bull into pieces, and laid it on the wood. And then he did something strange. He told the people to pour water over the offering. Then again, and again. 12 large jars of water soaked the bull, the wood, the stones. Even the trench was filled. The altar was drenched. There could be no mistake. If fire came, it would be from heaven. Then Elijah stepped forward. There were no theatrics, no shouting, no dancing. He simply prayed. "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." And in that moment, heaven answered. A fire fell, blazing, roaring, unstoppable. It consumed the offering, the wood, the stones, the dust, and licked up every drop of water in the trench. The crowd fell to the ground in awe. "The Lord, He is God! The Lord, He is God!" Faith was reignited. Idols were exposed. The power of God stood undeniable. But Elijah's work was not done. He ordered the people to seize the false prophets, and they were removed from Israel. Then Elijah climbed to the top of Mount Carmel again. There had been no rain for 3.5 years. But Elijah believed. He bowed low and prayed, sending his servant to look toward the sea. Nothing. Again he prayed. And again. 7 times he sent the servant back. And on the 7th time, the servant returned with a report. A cloud, as small as a man's hand, is rising from the sea. Elijah stood. "Go tell Ahab, hitch your chariot and go down before the rain stops you." Soon the sky grew black. Wind howled, thunder cracked, and rain, glorious, soaking, miraculous rain, poured from heaven. God had answered by fire, and now He answered with rain.
The heavens burst open, and rain poured down in heavy sheets, soaking the parched earth. Ahab's chariot raced through the storm, wheels slicing through mud, thunder echoing over Jezreel's hills. But then, something greater. The hand of the Lord came upon Elijah. Strength beyond human measure surged through him. With divine power, he ran, faster than the king's finest horses, feet pounding the sodden ground, rain stinging his face, cloak whipping in the wind. Through the downpour, Jezreel's massive gates loomed, glistening with water. Ahab entered the city, bearing the weight of the day's fiery showdown. Inside the palace, Jezebel listened, eyes narrowing at the news of her prophet's slaughter. Fury boiled within her. She vowed, "By this time tomorrow, Elijah will be dead." The words cut deep. Fear gripped the prophet's heart. The memory of fire from heaven seemed distant. Elijah, weary and alone, pulled his cloak tight. The rain eased, but danger thickened in the air. Turning from Jezreel, he began a desperate journey, away from the palace's wrath, toward the wilderness, seeking once more the voice of the God who had called him. Elijah walked the lonely wilderness road, each step heavy with exhaustion. The once bold prophet now moved in silence, the desert stretching endlessly ahead. The sun beat down and the dry wind burned his face. Drained in body and spirit, Elijah collapsed beneath a solitary broom tree. He whispered a prayer of surrender, longing for rest from his burdens. But heaven had not forgotten him. An angel appeared, radiant yet gentle, touching his shoulder. Before him lay fresh bread and a jar of water, the provision of a loving God. Elijah ate, drank, and rested, the food giving strength for a journey he had not planned. For 40 days and nights, he traveled through rugged wilderness until Mount Horeb rose before him. There, in a shadowed cave, Elijah waited. Wind tore through the mountains, an earthquake shook the ground, and fire blazed across the horizon. But God's voice came in neither wind, quake, nor flame. Then came a gentle whisper. In that stillness, Elijah's weary soul was renewed. With fresh purpose, he stepped into the light, ready once more to follow the call of the Lord.
Thank you for watching Bible Breeze. Elijah's story reminds us that even in the darkest times, one voice of faith can spark revival. When we stand with God, heaven responds. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful 3D Bible stories brought to life. Until next time, walk boldly and trust completely.